Hello, my name is Rishabh, and today I'll be showing you how do you compile a software from its source code under the Linux operating system. There may be various motivations behind doing this. First, you may want to give a software a try before actually installing it onto your root file system. Software may contain bugs, so if you're using a buggy software directly onto your root file system, it may otherwise damage your system. So you may wish to test a software before actually copying it permanently to your system. Second reason may be you may not be having the root privileges of the system which you are currently on. So if you are trying to run a software which is already not there on the system, the only way left is to download the source code and compile it. Third reason may be as a software professional, you may be curious how a software which you are using in a daily life computing is actually built from its source code. Okay. So that said, let's see how this process is done. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'll be compiling VIM, that is the improved version of the VI editor, very powerful text editor from its source code. Obviously, when you're trying to compile a software from its source code, you'll require some building tools. These tools are called Build Essential, which include the GNU C compiler GCC, optionally a debugger GDB, an assembler, a linker, loader, as well as some building assisting tools like make, autoconf, recon. These basically are called auto tools. So let's see how this is done. First and foremost, we'll try to get the source code of VI editor. This is the home page of VI project. There are various ways to get the source code. Easiest of them is to get it from the GitHub. GitHub is a website which hosts the repositories of various open source as well as proprietary softwares using a version control software called Git. You can either clone the repository using a Git command install onto your system, or for the demonstration purpose, what we are going to do now is to download the whole software into an archive. So let me create a directory inside my working directory called src. We'll be working to this. So first and foremost, we'll get the software from the internet. So it is downloading the VI editor source code into an archive called master.zip. The name master is used because it is the name of the master branch of the repository in which it is maintained. There may be various branches: master, testing, release candidate. So this is the master branch which we are downloading. It may take a few more seconds. And we are done. So we have an archive named master.zip which contains the source code. We need to unzip it. So this basically unzips the master.zip into a directory called vim.master. Let's see what's inside. This is the same set of folders and files which we saw on GitHub. To compile any software which is written under the GNU build system, or basically for any POSIX or a Linux or a Unix based system, is based on three basic steps. First is to run a shell script called configure. Configure is a simple shell script which basically probes your system and searches for all the various dependencies of the software which you're trying to compile. Second step is to fire make. Make actually does the compilation. This compilation is based on the make file which is generated previously by the configure shell script. Third and optional step is to run make install, which actually copies the compiled binaries into the root file system. So if you wish to install the compiled binary into a folder which you don't, which which is not the root file system, it's a local folder in which you have write permissions to, you need to tell that in the configure script. So we'll do that by doing configure minus minus prefix equals the directory in which I'm trying to install it. So let's first create a directory in which we are going to install it. Here we create a directory called sysroot in which we are going to install home Rishav s prog src sysroot, and this will start probing my system and checking for all the dependencies for compiling vim. Okay, it is showing that it is not able to find any terminal library. Basically we need a library, for example ncurses, to compile vi editor. Ncurses is a terminal rendering library which is basically used by any software which is trying to display some ASCII based pattern on the terminal and trying to do that properly. So we need ncurses also. Ncurses is also open source. We can find its source code online. Ncurses. Let us download the latest version 6.0. Here we are. It's going to download in 10 seconds. And here we have ncurses. Let's unpack this archive, which is star.gz. So we'll use the command minus tar minus extract verbose file name ncurses dot. Okay, we have the source code extracted in ncurses directory. This is the source code. The same way we did for vim, we'll do the compilation here by using configure script minus minus prefix equals home risha prog src sysroot. It's again probing my system for checking the compilation dependencies for ncurses. Okay, gone. Alright, so we have a makefile named makefile capital M, which will basically do the compilation. For that we'll fire the make command. So usually when make is run, it is, I'm sorry, what is this? Okay, we have got an error here. It basically says in the header file cursors.h line number this column number this, which is included by libgen.c in line number, sorry, it is this cursor.h is included by cursorsprev.h in line number 325, which in turn is included by libgen.c in line number 19, and this basically is expecting a closing bracket before the int in line number 843, and sorry, line number 1631. And so let's find out where this file is. Find in the current directory by the name, what is this, cursors.h. So if you're compiling any software from source code, you may run into errors like this. You may need to debug the source yourself. It is include, so I don't have, I think, vi right now. Okay, so I'll use mousepad. Mousepad is another text editor GUI based. So where is it? Include cursors.h, and we have to go to line number 1631. 1631. I'm sorry, where is it? Here it is. So it is okay. Here, what was the error again? Okay, in place of y, it is expecting a closing bracket. Where is y? Here it is. It is expecting a closing bracket. Why is it that? Okay, usually when these kinds of error occur in my compilation, first thing I do is to comment out this line. There may be a case in which we are not using this and it is causing the error in the compilation. So let us first comment this out and see whether the compilation goes through. Let's try it again. So make usually runs on a single thread. If you have multi-core system, that is multiple CPUs or a multi-core CPU, you can do the compilation in parallel by using the J option and n plus 1 as parameter. N is the number of cores you have. We have currently running this compilation on a dual core system, so I'm applying 3. So it is compiling using 3 parallel threads, which will be a bit faster. You can see my CPU usage has gone mad to 100%. I think we are through. That error is no more coming. Compilation of any software, a big software project usually requires much processing power and equivalent amount of time. Preferably you use a powerful system which with 8 to 10 gigs of RAM as well as quad 2 8 cores, preferably an i7 or i5 or a Xenon. This is comparatively a very small project. If you're trying to compile a bigger project like the Linux kernel or the glibc library or the GCC toolchain, you'll surely require a powerful PC. Alright, alright, we have the compiled version of Ncrypt's library. We can install it by using make install. Oh god, make install. Okay, I'm sorry. Since we had already told it where we want to keep the executables, it will only install into that local directory, which we have the right permissions to. So it is not complaining about the permissions here. It is installing. After it is done, we'll check the contents of the sysroot directory, which we just created and installed the software into. Let's check the sysroot directory. Voila, we have the binaries here in the bin and the libraries in the lib. Okay, we have the Ncrypt's library. This is the static library. In an archive, and we have the header file into that include directory. Fine. Now we can go ahead with the compilation of VI. But there is one slight problem here. We have not installed the Ncurses library in the standard path where VI editor expects it to be. So we need to explicitly tell VI where we have kept the libraries as well as the header files for the just compile Ncurses library. Let's first go into the VI editor, source code directory. We'll need to set two flags here, two important variables. We'll do export cpp flags equals, this is the directory in which this is the set of flags which we pass to the compiler. One of the flags is minus I. Minus I is the is a parameter in which you give the directories to be searched for the header file. So I have to search in home Rishabh. Let me just write it down. Prog src sysroot and include. This is the directory in which you have to search for the header files, and ld flags, export ld flags equals minus l. This is the parameter which sets the set of directories in which you have to search for the libraries. This flag is for the loader, so it is for ld flags. Minus l home rishav prog src sysroot, and then you have to configure minus minus prefix equals home rishav prog src sysroot. Now it will find the header files for the ncurses library. Oh, what's the problem here? I think there may be some problems in the path in which I have written home rishav prog src sysroot include. Alright, this is fine. Export ld flags equals minus l home rishav prog src sysroot. Okay, that is also fine. Let me just try it this way. Oh, I forgot to mention the lib. I'm sorry for that. Okay, I think it has found the ncurses so far. Alright, let's install it. Oh, I didn't fire make. So this is basically compiling it right now, and then after the compilation is done, it will install it into the directory which we specified it to. This is slow, so we'll do it in parallel. Minus J3. This is gonna take a while. So as you can see how the source code is written, and it's compiling into the object files first, and all these object files will be linked together to form the VI editor. Please note this whole process can be used for any kind of open source software, almost any kind of open source software. Okay, we are done. So let's install it. Let's check whether it has installed or not. If it is, we shall have a VI editor here, and we have it. VIM. Let's check out the version. Okay, it says version 7.4 and compiled on 30th August at 23:17. Now is 23:18, just a few minutes ago. Okay, so this is the version which we compiled right now, so we can test it out. Insert mode. Okay, it's working fine. So it has created a file called hello and wrote some junk into it. So as you saw how the software is built from the source code. Hope you liked the video. Thank you.